Hi, welcome to another lesson of our quadratic equation course. Today, we're going to learn how to solve quadratics by factorization. If you still remember, when we are doing quadratic expressions, we have learned how to factorize it. Okay, so we're going to solve the quadratic equations by using the factorization method that we have seen before. Our learning objective, we're going to learn how to solve the quadratics by factorizing. So let's start. Fine, factorize this expression, solve this equation. Okay, let's start with this one. X squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, let us factorize together this expression because we know how to do it, we have learned. Okay, so factorizing this expression, something that you must be able to do based on the lessons that we have done already together. So how do we do? Okay, factorizing simply means you need to get two brackets here. Two brackets. And then you fill x, and then you fill x here. And after that, well, we need to get two numbers. When we times them, give us 2. When we add them, give us 3. As we have seen number of times, this is 1 and 2. So we factorize. We factorize this one. So x squared plus 3x plus 2, when you factorize, it's a bracket x plus 1, close the bracket, another bracket x plus 2. That's what it is. I'm going now move to here, where they said solve this equation, x squared plus 3x plus 2 equals 0, which is the topic of today. Okay, how do we do? This bit, we factorize. So I'm going to write down here, x plus 2. That is the two factors that we go and factorize that expression. And that must be equal to 0. So nothing new so far. Now, if I times those two numbers, they must equal to 0. That's what it says here. Now, if you think now with me, if you got two numbers and you times them and you get 0, what can you say about those two numbers? Well, I think it's not hard to say that one of them at least must be 0, or both of them must be 0. And then this is what's going to help us to solve this. We're going to say two numbers times together give me 0. That simply means either the first one must be 0, or the second one must be 0, or both of them must be 0. This is now very simple linear equation. So the solution from this side is x equals minus 1, and the solution from this side is x equals minus 2. So we solve it. Now if you take minus 1 now, if you take minus 1 and you fill it here, minus 1 plus 1, that is 0. 0 times whatever you got here, that gives you 0. Okay? If you take minus 2 and fill it, minus 2 take away 2, that is 0. And if you write down minus 2 add 1, that gives you minus 1. But minus 1 times 0 equals 0. So this is the solution. Let me recap what we've done so far. First, what we've done, we factorize the expression the way how we learned. When we factorize it, we say these two factors must be equal to 0. Now, two numbers, when you times them, gives you 0. One of them must be 0. Either the first one must be 0, or the second one must be 0. Okay? The first one must be 0 simply means x must be equal to minus 1. The second one must be 0 simply means x must be equal to minus 2. So this is how you solve it. Let us do another one. Here I got x squared minus 25. Okay? Still remember what we call this? This is the difference of two squares. How do we do it? We square root the first one, and we square root the second one, and one time we add them, and one time we take away. This is how we have learned, and this is how you factorize. Now it says solve. Okay? We do the same way. So first we factorize. X plus 5 here, and x minus 5 here, equal to 0. Now, What does that mean? That simply means we got two numbers here. When we times them, we got 0. So one of them must be 0. So same way as we done in question 1 or question B, we're going to say the first one must be 0 or the second one must be 0. So now we end up solving two simple linear equations. The solution for the first one is x equals minus 5, and the solution for the second one is x equals 5. If you take x equals minus 5 here, minus 5 plus 5, minus 5 plus 5 is 0, and 0 times whatever you got here is 0. If you take x is 5 and you fill it here with 5, 0, 0 times whatever you got from there is going to give you 0. So this is how you solve quadratic equations. Okay? Now, I go here for you to try 3 of them. I want you to stop the video and try those 3. Okay? So, stop the video and try them. Fine, I think you have tried. Let's start with this one. So let's factorize it first. Okay? Two numbers, when I times them gives me 4. When I add them gives me 5. That's 1 and 5. So we factorize it. 1 and 4. Times them is 4, add them is 5. So x squared plus 5x plus 4, it gets factorized in this way. And then we need to solve it. So we're going to say the first one must be 0, or the second one must be 0, the same way as we done before. This gives us x equals minus 1, and this gives us x equals minus 4. You can check it by filling here. Okay, let's move to this one. Okay, difference of 2 squares. So square root of the first one is 2x. No, actually, it's no. Forget about this. How do we factorize this? They got what they got in common. They got 2x in common. Take that 2x out. Okay, what's left? Here 2x left, and here 3 left. That's how you factorize. So here, this expression gets factorized in the form of 2x times 2x minus 3. And this all must be equal to 0. Now we got two numbers. When we times them, gives us 0. So either the first one, which is 2x, must be 0, or the second one, which is 2x minus 3, must be 0. 2x equals 0 simply means x must be 0. 2x minus 3 equals 0. You need to solve this simple linear equation. So that is 2x equals 3. And finally, x is 3 over 2. So that's your solution. You solve it. Okay, this one is a bit harder. We have learned how to factorize these things. So two numbers. First, we need to times 3 and 8. Still remember, 3 minus 8. 3 minus 8 gives you minus 24. Two numbers, when I times them, gives me minus 24. When I add them, gives me 10. Think about it. But it's plus 12 and minus 2. So this one is 3x squared plus 12x, okay, minus 2x. Add them, gives you 10. Still remember the way how we done? And this is how you factorize. Let's factorize those two separate. Take 3x out. If you take 3x out, what's left? If you are struggling with factorization, you need to go back to the lesson which is talking about factorizing harder quadratics, and make sure that you watch that video and do the exercise that goes with it. So here we got x plus 4. That's what's left. Here those two, they got 2 in common. So that is again x plus 4. X plus 4, x plus 4, that's a common factor. So we got x plus 4 this side. Okay? And what's left now is 3x minus 2. This is how this expression factorizes. We're going to write down those two factors here. Okay? The two factors are x plus 4, close down, 3x minus 2, and this must be equal to 0. This is 0. So the first one must be 0, or the second one must be 0. Two simple linear equations. If you solve for this one, you got minus 4. If you solve for this one, you get x equals 2 divided by 3. Okay? This is how you solve quadratic by factorization. We have seen all possibilities. We have seen a simple one. We have seen one there's only 2 terms. We have seen when the coefficient of x squared is no one but, for example, 3. And in the example, I show you how to do when there's a difference of two squares. So we have seen all possibilities. Okay, this is the end of this lesson. Thank you for watching. There's a worksheet that goes with this lesson. Make sure that you complete it. Use the answer sheet to mark your work, and see you in another lesson.